Hello everybody, it's Phil the Miniature Model Maker coming to you in this video with Gundam Artifact Phase 5 Model 24 Hyaku Shiki, and that is this guy right here. So in the last build video I did of the Zaku cannon, it went together okay during parts assembly, so part like the arm, gun, torso, and everything, uh, excepting a couple different parts. But then when I went to finally put all the parts together, it was a hand grenade. It just crumbled in my hand. And after looking at the instructions on this and thinking about it for a while, this is an 80 plus part kit, I think. Uh, High 70s. Yeah, and it has some very small parts. So I decided to forego the basic blind build guides like I have done in the past on this model and all future models in this phase, in preference for preparing them ahead of time because you're going to need to glue. So be prepared to glue. These are not snap fit, push fit kits in the sense that the older models were. They're even less. Parts security is a legitimate concern with a lot of these. Some of these parts being 2 or 3 centimeters, not centimeters, millimeters in size, and they will fall off. So from here on out, from model 24, 25, 26, 27 in phase 5, expect to be gluing. And I strongly suggest using Tamiya Extra Thin Cement or a cyanoacrylate if you do. Now, while I have you, I'm going to, if you haven't seen the Zaku Cannon build guide, I'll put it up there and you can follow along. That was a fun build. It's a really cool model, but there are some definite pain points. Like this gun will snap off, and the handles for these, well, they broke. As yeah, just broke. So these new artifacts are fairly delicate. With that said, let's go ahead and get in on the build. So we're going to start with our left leg, and hope I don't lose pieces. So the tools I'll be using in this build today are my pincettes and my Tamiya Extra Thin Cement. These things are exceptionally useful for these smaller pieces. Like here's one right here. I think that's either part 63 or 64. That's itty bitty, teeny tiny part. So expect expect to be very careful. All right. So we have our leg, and it's going to be oriented like so. Oh, I missed something, guys. Oh no. Let me get this sanded down real quick. Because I'm gluing, I'm taking more care with sanding and preparation. This is still going to be generally tabletop quality. I'm not scribing anything out. I'm not going out of my way to fill gaps. So there we go. And no orders of operation, so we can kind of put together at our leisure. So let's look at parts 60 and 55. And 55 is you. All right. Do we need to Okay, cool. So there, and this is what I'm talking about with these small bits and potentially losing them. Thankfully, this one was big enough that I could just see. So we have our connection here. This is what's going into the leg, and this is what's going to go into the body. There are no extra tabs, no funny business. So we can go ahead and slot that in. That slots in this way. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Get that set together. And I haven't assembled this at all. This is the first time I'm putting this together. I just took some time yesterday and cleaned parts up. So we're seeing this for the first time together. And that's a little fiddly. Okay. So I'm going to take a second and go ahead and just file those down a little bit. And yeah, I've been painting. I've been working on a Rick Diaz using some new paints. It's kind of fun. Alright. And you again go like so. There we go. That's a smoother fit up there. Okay. So we'll go ahead and put our glue in here. Our cement, as it's not glue, as somebody over on Twitch kept reminding me. It is a cement. It melts the plastic. But it's glue, you know? Alright, there we go. Those fit together nicely. And sometimes, if your parts aren't moving quite right, a little bit of cement can lubricate them. Okay, so now we're like here, and our part here. There is a tab right here that fits just right in there. Lovely of them to do that. And I just refilled my container, so I have to be a little careful I don't overdo it. I did slop a bit around yesterday and get some on something I was working on. Here we are. And we'll put just a little bit in there. Put a little happy little cement in the lines. Okay. So that's there. Let's go ahead and do the sides, because I think it'd be easier. Well, we'll see. Where's the back? Here we go. Part 59. Okay. It looks like getting parts 61, 65, and 62 attached to the leg before part 59 is going to be easier. So let's go ahead and do that. And you are 62. You are 61. The tab matches. And then you look to be 65? Yes. You are 65. Okay. And you go. Are you? Why do you not look like the right part? Just a moment, folks. Are you going to, you or not? Did I put the wrong part in the wrong? I hope I didn't lose that part. But you're not. You're the right part. Okay. So this is the correct part, but it didn't quite match the look of the piece on the inside on the instructions. However, that's the second half of this front kneecap thing. And again, we're going to sand this down so I'm not super fluffed about getting a bit of glue on the front, as long as it doesn't get on my fingers. Okay. Now we can go ahead and put our other parts on. 62. Go here on the thigh. This is why I like the Tamiya for these guys. You can very easily get the parts partly on there. Make sure they're in the right place. Make sure they're fitting okay. And then put your cement on into the pegs where they're supposed to go. But it's not ABS cement, so it does melt the plastic a bit stronger than a proper ABS would. I gotta be careful about that. Okay, and part 59 goes down here. Okay, that's gonna have to get cement there. Now for display level work on this paint job, you may consider painting all of these separately, so you can get that undercoat in in the internals everywhere. But that's really try hard level, super nitpicky detail. If you're going for just game tabletop quality, nah, you'll be okay. Okay, here's that, and a black brushable primer wouldn't be a bad idea to get up in the tiny little spots there. Let's take our foot and put this together first. You are what? Oh, that's right, you're the armor for the skirt that goes with that leg. Okay, here's the toe, front pad, whatever you would like to call it. And I'm no longer taking any chances with these things. Not after the Zaku Cannon build. So glue, glue, glue. The front cowling here. Okay. And the panels on these feet are a bit warped. So if you want to sand them down and smooth them down, I would recommend doing that before assembly like this, especially these front have some divots in them. As my new friend Out of This World Minis said, you'll find prime crimes. All the crimes that you committed during your building will come clear during priming. This is going to be one of them. Alright, so now we're here. This part is this you here? No, the long side goes up. Okay. So when you're looking at this, you've got a long side and then your angled side. This side is what goes down. And the tab is closer to the front. So this is going to end up looking a little bit like wings on a Greek god's sandals. And it just slots into that tab like that. Carefully, 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 carefully. That was a little bit too much cement there. Okay. Now we know. There is too much of a good thing. However, all of this can be fixed. All you gotta do is just wait for it to dry and scrape it down. And then the foot. Do we want to go ahead and attach this now? Here the front. Here the front. All right, that's a nice snug fit. And it is at an angle. So be aware of that. Okay. We'll go ahead and cement that in. There you go. So when it's on the body, it's going to be at a bit of an angle, and the foot's going to be nice and flat. Yay, good. Let's continue with the next. So while you are watching this, what are you doing? Are you working on models? Are you painting? Are you building? Is it Gundam? Is it Warhammer? Is it something else? Or do you just like the sound of my voice and are listening to the channel? I say that last one kind of as a joke. My voice is not great, especially with the way I talk to myself kind of quietly, and then give you the points where I'm louder. I'm sure that's rather annoying. But if you're watching this on a phone or anywhere where there's noise, put the closed captions on. They're pretty good. I know I tried that yesterday. I was sitting outside and couldn't quite hear everything well. So I put them on and they're reasonably good. I was pleasantly surprised. Foot. Okay. Cat hair. You wouldn't know that I just swept my desk off right before filming. Feline fur forever everywhere. Slot and tab, remember that keeps you aligned properly. And secure this one very well. Here we are. Okay, and now you go here. So you folks who paint your miniatures, or, even paint your Gunpla, how do you do it? Do you follow any particular method? Are you a fan of the heavy metal style? Are you a fan of slap chop? Or do you just kind of do it your own way to get the effects that you want on your model? I'm kind of, for mine, trying a bunch of different methods while that dries. I'm doing a little bit of semi-slap chop on this, volumetric undercoating, because these Galeri paints are really thin. But now looking at it, you can't really notice, except when looking at some of these panels. But yeah, it's worth a try. And then, stippling and washing or cell shading and all these other ways we can go about putting color and vibrancy on our little models. What's your favorite? And if you do the bigger Gunpla, do you generally stick to the single base coat without much weathering, the base coat panel lining, or do you go ahead and go all in with the weathering and such? Alright, good. So putting the glue back up underneath here squeezed it all the way through, which was nice. However, it was a little bit much. These poor feet are going to be all gross. Maybe I'll just have to put a bunch of texture and weathering on them. And who cares if they're a little melted in the plastic? It'll be a good effect, right? Hide your crimes. Or use your crimes to your advantage. Here we are. Okay. Now, let's get this. Make sure our fingers are clean. Which one are you? Alright, here, that one. And I can't tell you how much of a difference these pincettes make when working with these small parts. Previous builds, when I didn't have them, oh, they were just awful. Having to use just regular tweezers, icky, icky. Or God forbid, my fingers. But they're still not perfect. Sometimes fingers are the way to go. I'm just putting a little bit, not a lot, down there, and letting it slide down. There we go. That. There. Feetses. And really loading up that section there. And plop. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. There we are. Alright, now we get into the left arm. This has one of the smallest parts in the entire kit. Part 54 is tiny and fiddly and is an internal. And it's got 2 pegs. And on top of it, they're pistons. They're molded pistons. The picture on the page is 4 times bigger than the actual part itself. That's just ridiculous. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get these legs out of the way so I can put these parts here. Starting 1, okay, so we've got orders of operation here. Part 48 goes into part 42. 42 is the shoulder piece with that. And then 42, I know, and it's you. Alright, so 42 is this wing thing. It's got 2 little sections here where it's going to fit into that side. And these are traditionally very fiddly parts. Let's get the other half of the shoulder ready to go, just in case. Now I'm going to pull this closer just a moment so I can look. Okay. So the detail goes out. It's kind of obvious, should be. And alright, so down here, there's an empty space for it. I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue in there now. And let it sit for a second. Okay. And the other half is there. Alright. Let's hold it together. Keep it together, Phil. Keep it together. Uh-huh. Yep, I thought so. Okay, so if you can, let's see if this works. Get the shoulder together before putting that in, and then doing your cement. It's a little bit more of a secure way to do it. we go. Cool. Just wiggling this part around a little to see if I can maybe position it slightly differently. It doesn't look like it. Okay. Gonna let that stay there and be happy. Part 50. 53 and 52. 52 has the holes for the pegs. 53 has the pegs. One. Was I supposed to put the arm in there? I was. Well, guess what? We can still do that. Just open you up a little bit. Like so. There we go. Now 57 is this little guy right here, and there's an extra little tab on top. This is what I was saying in the unboxing video, how they design little tabs and angles and pieces very specifically to make sure that they fit right where they're supposed to be and the angle they're supposed to be. It's pretty incredible. And we saw that with the Zaku Cannon build, where I accidentally got the pegs for the legs facing the wrong direction and they wouldn't go on. But you get it around in the right way, pop, pop, in like Flynn. Okay. So there are two sets of pegs here that match to that. And even these have tabs. There are little tiny tabs on them. Gracious. So we'll put a little touch of love right there. Do the same over here. And I'm pushing more on these bottom two tabs. There we go. So that secures the part. And now I can go through and give it some cement. Alright, for those of you doing detail builds, the pegs on part 53 are a little bit long and need to be shortened up just a bit. There's a seam line going through the middle of that. That may be unavoidable though. Okay. Oh. I wasn't paying attention. There's part 54. Alright, and this is where getting used to having callouts, instructions, like insets, is a bad thing. Or the orders of operation on there, because I got some music going and I'm thinking about what I'm saying to you guys, and it's getting a little warm in here, and I just was like putting my parts together and not thinking, well, let's just take it apart. I can't find my, oh hell, we'll just use these. So I'm just cutting off the pegs, and that'll should be enough to be able to slide it in the slot. Come on, little guy. Let's behave. Be nice. You're so close. You're so close. You've got this. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. What's keeping you? Okay. Where are my clippers? Clippers, where'd you go? There we are. Aren't you guys glad that I'm doing this for you? Making these mistakes so you don't have to? that may actually be the better way to put that part in. We'll see with the other arm. But there are nice tabs. I don't know. We're going to see in a minute once we get the gun put together. And flat surfaces aren't a bad place to be putting this cement if you have to get it on the surface, because that is easily cleanable. Okay. 74. Are you the other half of the gun sight? You need just a little bit more. A little more touch of sandpaper, because you will be hard to even out. And I am critically aware that part 73 is there on the instructions, and I need to be very careful to not hit them and send it flying. Oh, come on, you piece of junk. There. Alright, now part 73 is the back of the hand. And there is an alignment to it. And I couldn't even begin to show you on the camera. Just look at it. The back, the peg is in the front. And it clips nicely into the hand and creates a little bit of armor for the back of the hand. Here we are. That's a pretty standard rectangular tab and slot. There we are. That's a nice gun arm. I like the corrugated tubing over that. It's almost like the gun from the O, which is next, by the way. I'm looking forward to that. But we're going to take that out and keep that to the side. Okay. Now the right arm. Shoulder piece. And this has even more small parts. Shoulder piece. flap and there. Okay. So what is it telling us? First thing, the flap needs to go in, and then you need to put the arm in there. Part 19. And it has a nice little peg and slot. And it looks like the empty part goes forward facing you. I'm going to disagree with their order of operations. And glue this in first. We'll see how that goes. If it will go. Probably shouldn't be doing it this way. They are very specific in why they do things. But I'm curious. There we go. Okay. Part 33. Man, this music has me chill. But it's also it's kind of counteracting the nerves I've got from all of these tiny little parts. I've got a bit of memory, ingrained nervousness after doing the tall geese and that part going flying. Alright, that worked out okay. Now what do we have? That's the hand, okay. And you're the other part of the hand. You're the arm. Is that right? Yes, it is. And this is kind of why I was asking folks in the Zaku Cannon build if they would be interested in seeing, and I'll ask you the same, if you'd be interested in seeing detail builds, because I'd be doing it very differently if it were for detail display. But it would be much longer. Probably 10, 12, maybe even more hours per model. So it would be a very long series. Okay, so part 25 and 54, you need to clean those really well. Especially these tabs here. The tolerance on the slots is minuscule. There's no room for extra plastic. But if you would like to see maybe one from this series, not the double zeta. I can't do the double zeta this way. But if they're probably the O, I think I would enjoy doing to display quality. If you'd like to see that, I'll leave a comment down below. Leave a one in the comments if that would be something you'd be interested in seeing, and I will do it once I get other things going. I do have to finish all these build guides and painting a couple models and getting. We are 1 day away from September. This will probably go up the first August 31st, the day before September, meaning September, and my Tau are going to get some love after many years of neglect. So September is going to be primarily a 40K month. But I'll still be doing these build guides. But once they're done, I will have less time for Gunpla until October, because I don't have orcs, so no Orktober for me. But I'm thinking of challenging old Big Mech at the Red Ones Go Fasta channel to a September / Orktober build challenge. Okay, this is the right arm. That means the thumb is going outward. No, this is actually the left arm. Because there's the body. Left arm. But it's photo right, stage right. No, stage left. God, it's been so long since I've done any sort of production, but there we go. There's another arm out of the way. We're getting close, folks. One of my favorite steps on any of these builds is the inking and removing the ink. I don't know why it's so satisfying. Okay, let's put a little bit more glue in there. You stay. You stay. You stay too. Alright, so we're an hour in. Look at that. See what prepping all these ahead of time does for us? Alright folks, now we're in for some pain. This part 9 and the head, well, did I already put the head together? Yes, I did. So I already assembled the head, because no way am I doing that on camera. Some of these other smaller parts were bad enough. But this headpiece, yeah, that's just bonkers. Okay. Part 17, 44, there, and there. Okay, what is 1? Step 1 is putting the front on. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll be able to get it all the way in without seam issues. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to sand down the pegs on these, just out of building a good habit. Sometimes on these torsos, once you get them in, even the first time, it's very, very difficult to separate them, which is a good thing in general, but if there's a seam line that needs to be filled, you can't exactly easily get it apart to modify the pegs. Okay, there we go. That's done. 2 is to put the sides on. And I am going to file these down just in case. I think I did it a little bit, but I'm not going to trust that. So which color should I paint? What color should I paint this? I will put a community post up once this goes live and let you guys decide. Do you want to do the classic gold, or is there another scheme out there that you think would look cool? Now this will be this is the tabletop one, so maybe the gold won't be the best idea for the first one. So maybe some other color. Okay. Alright. Don't shave this one down too much, people. There's a decorative element there, possibly another connection. That's why we do it just a little bit. And if we need to do more, we can. If we need to do less, we're screwed. You can always take away plastic, but it's a lot more difficult to put it back unless you have 0.5 millimeter thick plot plate. Which I've seen some of these artifact makers, customizers, use. Absolutely ridiculous. Tenths of millimeters thick. 1, 2, okay. What's 3? Why is there no 3? There is 3. Okay. So looking at our parts, the peg is going up and these small pegs are going forward, so it can attach to the inside of part 9. And be careful, careful with this. These little pistons are a brake hazard. Serious brake hazard. Pegs and pistons go up. Like so. And then these little tabs here right there are where those pistons are going to slot into. And there's a little tiny tab at the back of the peg on part 3 that will make sure that you are correctly aligned. Yes. Do not force these apart. Be very gentle. I broke the piston on the foot on that Zaku cannon yesterday. I wasn't pushing hard, I just had it slightly misaligned and it snapped. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Alright, they're in there. They're in their slots. I'm just gently pushing. Here we are. Almost. Is there supposed to be a gap? I don't think so. Here. Okay, so it fits flush. This little indentation on part 9 does fit this on part 12, the torso. So put a little glue in there, melt the plastic, relieve some stress. Not on us, on the plastic. There we go. And that should play nicely. Now we have the back. I have not been looking forward to this particular step. And if you'll excuse me a moment, I'll be right back. Alright, if I got my self cues right, I edited all that out, and we will move on. If not, there was a slight break, and you had a chance to go get a drink or step away, stretch. So no orders of operation. However, these larger pieces do go on. We are assembling the entire interior section of this backpack. So let's do that first. Put there, 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 there. Okay, so increasing part count to be able to print or mold smaller parts to make something that would have been one or two pieces in an earlier phase. I see what they're doing. Alright, we're going to take one of these, and that's you. So you are part 21. Get out of here. I think you're part 24. Oh, we gotta pull this close, folks. Yes. Alright, so the open end of this is what's going in this direction. And there are tabs on these pegs. So nice, so nice. Okay. you go on to 23. Which okay, cool. Now it's 47. 23 goes like so. And you attach to part 11, which is you. If IKEA ever made a backpack, this is what it would look like. Okay. And then part 16 is going up into there. And all right, so looking at 16 from the side, you can see the tab is closer to one of this top or bottom. And that matches this. The slot is closer to the top than the bottom. I think these two parts are molded identically, so it's not something you got to worry about getting the exact right one. Just make sure that you're putting them in the right way. Plop. That was easy. And be careful when you're applying pressure. Again, this is a loose piston. It could easily break. Okay, let's go ahead and put these two together. Come on, little pig. Come on. There we go. Alright, so the one of the internal pieces of this needs to be filed down just a tad. But it's a tiny little space for a very detailed build if that's what you're after again. Okay. And then you are like this. And like so. Yes, no, maybe so. This piston here is a connection point on the torso. Looks like. Yep, right there. So be careful with it. Your model will look awfully strange without it. Okay, almost done with that. Look at you. Look at us go, folks. It's been an hour and 24 minutes. Plus the 3 or 4 hours I spent cleaning this. Now, you are arranged this way. You go forward. Yes. Okay, don't wiggle these too much. They're thin, and there is another peg and slot to make sure they go in the correct orientation. Flat. Yes. Okay. I forgot that's not a solid piece. Did I just break something? No. I'm so used to these backpacks being one solid part that I completely forgot that I had just assembled it. put the gun together. And this is why I normally do these videos in 2 parts. I'm losing my focus. Alright, that went together nicely. Okay, there we go. Now let's look at you. You are here. You're the internal. So are you. And you just slip in there like that. Alright, so there is future value in not gluing this one on right yet. To be able to clean all this up and paint these. So we're just going to gently, if I can, there we go, just pop that in, and then there's really no difference. So we'll just throw a bit of cement around the edge here. And in here. Boop. And we do the same here. Plop. And that's done. Look at that. Let that cure. The skirt, That's the easy part. Look at that. But we do have two more little pistons there. So the roughed edge goes forward. And goes in there. But we need to remove another little bit of sprue. Okay. Oh man, how nice is that? In the past, these skirts have been righteous pains, but this flop. But these are only connected by two little pieces up here. So don't push on them. Just push on that. These are brake hazards, serious brake hazards. And then you go. Okay. The pieces match pretty well. Tabs and slots and everything are shaped like they should be, like they go together. And look at that. They do. Alright, and then part 11 just goes on like so. Okay. Assemble this piece, these two pieces, before attaching it to this. And I would do it in this build order. 1, 2, 3. Well, attach step 1, attach this and the back part step 2, and then do the front at the very end. So it's 1, 2, 3. Simply for access and being able to apply pressure. And here, put the bottom part in first, and so kind of go with this and just pop. That'll work best. Okay. That's done. Now we may be in another situation like the Zaku cannon. Don't be surprised if this doesn't work. I don't expect it to. I'm hoping it will, because that would sure make it easier to take to take the thumbnail. All right, there's the right leg. So our next step is to put the legs in. And there is a D cut, so you'll know very easily. Oh, no. Okay. Stop. No. This middle part here. This part 14. Put your legs into that first. And then do second. And then do this third. Okay. These legs are a lot sturdier than these parts are and can handle a little bit more stress. These skirt pieces, not so much. Yeah, if you're going to glue them, go ahead and I would do that just like that at first to avoid any potential slippage and snapping this piece or any of these. Okay. And now we put the torso on. Oh no. What? What? Okay. So, after feeling this stuff, I'm feeling stress, a strain on the parts. So take part 14 and attach that to the torso in this step. That way the glue can set, you can get everything taken care of, because it's not going flush, and because there are other more delicate parts attached to it, I'm risking breaking everything trying to get the torso on there straight. Okay, so again, do not put the head on. No head. Part 14, this cross member that holds the legs and the skirt parts, attach that to the torso in this step. Okay, give it time to cure, any cement, time to set, even overnight. And then you can put your legs on, and then you can apply the skirt armor. That's your path of least stress and strain on the parts, your path of least chance of breaking something. That was almost scary. Okay, now This is the I know I said right leg, but now I'm second guessing myself, wondering which did I mean is the right leg. Does it matter? Yes, it is at an angle. I'm not liking this. So it's saying there these two little side pieces are what this attaches to, but that's a nice big slot. And unless they're meant to go way out to the side, but I don't think they are. Kind of like that. Well, either way, these are not sticking on without glue. Well, maybe they will. Maybe. I don't like it though. That's a heck of a compression fitting. And is an absolute terror of a brake hazard. Okay, so those are not going to go on. I'm going to figure out another way. Maybe cut some of these a little bit and glue them. But I don't want to glue them so I can get paint in here. So let's pretend that those pieces are on. And then put our arms on, and this is our gun arm. And there's our punching arm. And these shoulder connections are so much better, except they're not. You can't even move them. This is a completely monopose kit. I think I would rather have monopose for part security for most people, because it'll be pretty easy to put some putty in there, and if I really wanted it swinging out, I could do that. But I'm guessing it's going to hit the backpack if I do. And we're going to find out right now. Okay, carefully align your pieces. Oh, that did get deformed a little bit. Of course you did. Of course you did. Yeah, that's fine. And the blessed little peg for the head. There we go. That is Gundam Artifact Phase 5 Model 24 Hyaku Shiki assembled in 1 hour and 45 minutes, accounting for a restroom break. That's a neat kit, for sure. I like it. Things I'm noticing: backpack assembly is easy for them to the bottoms of these to go inward. So if you want properly straight wings and things, take your time. Just build it slowly. Let the solvent cure. Let everything get nice and sturdy before going to the next one. And you'll be in good shape. Okay. That's a nice big gun. Does that swing up and over? How? Oh, it does. How cool. I wonder. No, you can't because it attaches to that wing. Okay. Boo. But very nice little kit. I like it. And it's in the same size as the Zaku cannon. They've both got big cannons, but this guy's, oh, I don't know. This guy's the F-117 to this guy's A-10. All angles and modern look, and this guy's brute force. But neat. I'm going to let this dry overnight. Well, and ink it. And we'll get this video up for August 31st release. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you have, please do hit that like and subscribe and notification bell especially. The subscribe and the like are important for the algorithm to know that I'm making this content, so other people wanting Gundam artifacts can see it. I have discovered over the past couple days on Twitch that most people don't even know these things exist. And when they see them, they get really excited. So your like and your subscription and comment on these videos is actually going to make a difference for people out there who this will bring this up in their feed and create awareness of artifacts, which is what I'm trying to do, because these are awesome, awesome little things. And then your comments just make me happy because I get to talk to people. Yeah, and the notification, because I am going to make 40K content as well. And if you don't want to see it, that'll let you know. You can skip it. So thank you again very much for your time. I know these are long videos, and hopefully you enjoyed building your artifact number 24 Hyaku Shiki along with me. And remember that this is a hobby. If it doesn't bring joy, don't do it. Be good to yourselves, okay? Bye-bye.